Welcome back to Relationship Status. It's your girl, Nique Cruz.
G's here.
CL Butler.
And your boy, Yusuf in the building. And you remember, you can catch us on all podcast platforms. Just search Relationship Status Podcast. Welcome, people. Welcome back. Another episode. We're here for another week of good talk. And
yes, we are.
Friendship and what's it called? Fellowshipping.
Yeah, fellowship.
Yes. It's a lovely day.
It is. I'm ready for it to,
Shake on up.
turn it up.
You ready to turn it on up?
Sundress season.
It is here.
Basketball shorts.
Huh?
What?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Is that for the studs out there?
I guess
No.
it's for the studs. That is for the
For the
studs.
fellas?
That is for the studs.
The fellas wear the basketball
Yeah,
shorts.
and play basketball.
To
Who?
grown men?
Oh my God. Yes.
Okay, I don't know about these people.
Or some just be walking around in them.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Okay. That is
mean,
a dynamic. I wasn't aware of it. Well, okay. That could be a thing.
It is a thing, I guess. Just depending on what you got going on.
I mean, I wear shorts. I don't wear basketball shorts.
well, it's the same idea.
Yeah, it's just shorts.
No, she.
I mean, I
basketball
wear
shorts.
a long sundress, but I may wear a dress with.
No, see, that's that. See, I think that's cheating the people.
What?
The long sundress cheats the people.
You prefer short sundresses?
Yes.
Well, it depends if you're a leg person.
Perverted.
How's that perverted?
Because you want to see some stuff underneath.
No, I'm
sundress
just-
season is the idea of what is under that dress? Oh wow, no, you want her to just give you a sneak peek.
No, I just
Okay,
want it to be
how
a
did
regular
we get here?
sundress.
'Cause I am lost.
A
just
regular
want it to be a-
sundress is a long, nice dress.
No, it's not. That's not a regular
Yeah,
sundress.
sundresses are typical. A maxi dress is longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
That's
not
the
a
idea,
sundress.
but it's considered a sundress.
It's in the
so
category.
you like
It's
the
not-
easy access sundresses.
What other access should you want?
Okay.
I'm just-
We are going
Okay.
way
I'm
off.
so glad we started the show this
Okay.
way.
Okay. You
Go ahead.
Don't follow them up. Because you're only gonna look creepy.
Yeah, because
So
you look
stop.
really creepy.
Yeah.
I do not look. Whatever word you just
Hey.
said, I don't look like
Creepy.
Wow.
Oh, we have
Well, go ahead.
company.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
We do have company.
Yes, we have company.
So why y'all looking at me like that?
you didn't introduce our guest.
I'm getting there. Can we get there? Can we get? We're getting there.
Okay.
I was just trying to take us out of sundresses. That's all.
Okay.
That's why I said that.
Today. And, well, here's
That's
the
not
thing.
why I said that, but go ahead. Continue.
Normally. Normally,
Yes.
I'm about to mute her mic in a minute. Normally,
Mute it.
we have CL makes the introduction, but I will do so today.
Thank you.
The host of Carolina Sports Talk,
Yes, sir.
my man Cliff, is in the building.
Appreciate it. How y'all doing today?
Great. Glad to have you here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for that warm, sundressy welcome. Feel like part of the family already.
Welcome.
But you see, through our conversation, he was with me on that.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah. But anyway, moving forward.
Cliff is also a part of the Crux Media.
Crux
family.
Media
Crux
family.
Media.
Yes.
We out here.
And he has a show called
Carolina Sports Talk.
Carolina Sports Talk.
Yes, sir.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah. So
Tell us a little more about it.
essentially, the show focuses on sports from a Carolina's perspective. Being a consumer of all types of sports, I've primarily kind of seen on national coverage things being focused on the national teams, on your Dallas Cowboys, on your LA Lakers, your Yankees, the big boys. But I felt like there was a need for focus on sports from the Carolinas perspective. And so we cover sports from the high school, college, and pro perspective. Not those exclusive teams just here, but even our players that are from the area. So your Ja Morants of the world or your Zions, wherever they may be, we cover them as well. We touch on some of the national things from here and there, but primarily it's all about the Carolina sports and our Carolina folks.
Okay. So have you laid down your title? Like you the voice of the Carolinas, you the king of the South. What are you putting out here to
We
kind of
are
get the people to going?
So we're going to build to that. I don't want to just make the name. I'm going to earn it. And so right now what we're looking at is an authority. We do the research. We're out in the weeds with the people.
Okay.
Through the Carolina Sports Talk line and Cliff at carolinasportstalk.net. We do get the feedback from different folks. So if you've got high school folks who are looking that you want to spotlight, if you've got college teams, if you've got stories, whatever the people in the Carolinas want to know, that's what we want to report about. And so we kind of Want to have the heart of the Carolinas in mind, both in our location reporting and kind of recording down in Rock Hill, South Carolina, but then the heart of the Carolinas in what the people really want. So
Okay, good.
looking to be the people's champ, hopefully.
Good
Oh,
stuff.
there you go. That's a good one.
Champ.
That's a good one.
like
People's
that.
champ.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ladies have any questions for Cliff?
So on your show, people can just call in. Is it live?
It's not a live show.
So-
We drop weekly Wednesdays.
Okay.
New episode Wednesdays, #NEW. But no, we do have the Carolina Sports Talk email. I am going to do some calls coming up soon. That's one of the development things. But the sports line has been the biggest thing so far with the email.
Nice.
Okay.
Question for you, Cliff. What brought you into wanting to podcast and it now got you to Carolina Sports Talk?
So I've been in public speaking pretty much all my life, rather been in higher ed or acting and stuff like that. And so I've always loved using my voice, both, like I said, the natural voice of it, as well as just having something to say. I've been a consumer of all sports. There's not a lot of cats, especially my age, who love golf, who like hockey, who watch baseball, basketball, who like high school sports. And so for me, it was just a natural fit to be able to do a show and that was really centered around everything I love. On my way to work, because I commute about an hour and some change, I've got ESPN radio going. I've got the local station down in Columbia going. So I'm just a consumer of sports. And so to be able to not just continue to bring that in, but to be able to give it out to the people. For guys, you can't go to a barbershop. You can't be at any kind of function and start talking about sports, and every fella don't have some type of input. And there are a lot of females, surprisingly, ladies who have.
Ladies.
There are a lot of ladies who have some sports loves as well, and so we want to be able to tailor that to all types of folks, so not just the fellas, but families, whomever want to consume and be relatable with the sports. We want to give them the knowledge and information about what they want.
I like it. I like that you included the ladies there.
Oh, yeah. I've actually got an email this week that I'll be focusing on my show next week. The topic is going to be 1 year later, reflecting on the shutdown, because, sports was one of the initial triggers and indicators of the severity of the pandemic and everything. So we're going to be looking and reflecting from that Rudy Gobert being able to the NBA being shut down, and the NCAA, and just kind of the role sports have played. And one of my emails is actually coming from a young lady. So yeah, we include everybody.
My favorite sport is winter sport is curling.
Okay.
And I think that I would like to call your show and challenge your curling knowledge.
Come on, I'm with it. I like curling simply because it's one of the sports that everybody feels like they can be good. Everybody knows they can't go and be LeBron.
Okay.
But with curling, it's like, hey, man, we might get a team to go try out for the Olympics.
Absolutely.
It might be falling all over the place, man.
That's
I actually have
basically
a
how it
friend
starts.
that goes for the Olympics. He wants to play. He plays in Georgia right now.
Okay.
Plays curling.
See there?
So what do you play curling? Or
Are
just
you
a curler?
you are a curler?
Yeah,
I
just
assume.
kind of.
I just
I don't
really enjoy.
understand
I
it.
just really enjoy it. I don't know.
It's funny to me. Like I said, it's one of those things.
This is
that
a black curler?
Yeah, they have like
Everybody
a whole
does it,
group.
bro.
First of all,
Yeah.
the USA is not that great at curling. Like the Canadians going to beat us every time.
every time.
Okay.
So if you get bored,
Okay.
women's curling Olympics.
Yeah,
They have women.
They be
women's
getting it
curling
in.
as
They be
well?
shaking it. They
I'm
be
not sure.
just
I've never-
And they get so hype.
and they be ready, man.
Sorry.
Hey,
We talked about this on the Weekly Wind Down a couple weeks ago, but yeah, I really enjoy it.
Wow.
okay.
Now, are you an avid curler, or do you just like to consume?
I just like to consume. I like to cheer everybody on. I just love that it's such a team sport. Like the people are serious.
Very, very much so. The only thing that it
There is
requires,
a skill though.
there is, but
That
the only
chick's
thing
really
that
good.
requires less physical ability that people go harder for is cornhole.
Yeah.
I've seen a tournament, a cornhole tournament,
Yeah.
and they were like cussing at each other, and they were going in behind some cornhole. So I was
Yeah.
like, didn't realize that, but hey, that's their
This
sport.
is a thing.
Yep.
So yeah, Carolina Sports Talk. We don't curl in South Carolina as well
No.
too.
No, I
But we could
stopped.
probably make that in the street. We probably would have when I was younger. That's not like But anyhow, moving along. Carolina Sports Talk. That's
Good
excellent.
stuff. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
check
good
us out.
stuff.
Appreciate it.
Good stuff.
Crux Media.
I guess we're here to Crux Media.
Yes,
Guess
sir.
we're here to get to the business at hand.
Yeah.
Nique's gonna lead us into
Our
today's
topic.
sermon topic. Okay.
Oh, sermon. All right. So
Okay.
today we're going to discuss distinguishing the difference between dating, relationships, and marriage.
So that's 4 different things.
No,
Say
that's
there's
three.
3.
It's 3
dating,
things.
relationships, marriage.
Okay.
All right. All right. So the first one we're going to go with is dating. what exactly is dating? Can we get that from each person? What do you feel dating is?
It's when you have an exclusive arrangement with one person.
Okay. Does everybody feel that way?
No.
Everybody's supposed to give their own answer. Don't be judging my answer.
Let's just pick on him
Everyone
today.
got kind of quiet.
I try not to cover everything so y'all could have something.
I got you.
Okay. Wow.
I got you, bro.
I just think
It's a tough crowd.
dating is getting to know someone.
I agree with her. I think dating is a period of time where you're engaged with somebody that you seem to have some type of interest, commonality, whatever it may be, and getting to know if you can have that ability to have something more with them. So, yeah, it's just a period of kind of getting to know somebody.
Which is why you can date
Yusuf?
more than one person.
Okay. I'm a
Jump in on that.
I'm gonna let Yusuf finish.
Yeah, my thoughts on dating is you are similar to what Cliff said and what G said. You're getting to know, and maybe going out occasionally with someone. You're getting to know or go out occasionally with somebody that has piqued your interest a little bit more than talking. A little bit more than wanting to actually physically be in their space and see where it can go from being around each other.
Now, the talking you just mentioned, is that something that as adults you still think is there? I know this is one of the things.
But I think that the reason why I always throw that in there is because people kind of use it as
the talking stage.
the courting
Right.
period.
Talking.
That
We talk to
pre-courting.
each other.
Well, talking is what y'all are considering dating.
Yes, but see, and to me, and that's why I asked about it, because there's levels to this thing. And so as a kid, teenager, young adult, I was talking to people or what I'm saying, going through those things. But as adults, I feel like the dating stage
is that first space. But I think the reason I use talking
It's still called talking to. It's
No.
not called dating.
Well, I'm
even
just
as
saying-
an adult.
Yeah, even as an adult.
Well, I'm just saying.
Children are just small adults.
But you don't have the mindset or the capability
You don't need
to
it.
really but that's what I'm saying. That's
You'll
why-
never know.
But that's why there should be a differentiation between them. It's because as a child, you're talking, you're not looking to go towards marriage as a kid.
Well, the reason you're talking is because you don't know what marriage is yet. And you're still talking when you're dating. So if I'm talking to multiple women, it's cool. But if I'm dating, you can't date multiple people.
Why not?
Yes. Well, okay.
Because we're in society now where everybody gets a trophy. So they just want to switch it up. There was something exclusive about dating that made it special. Like when you had a girlfriend, it used to mean something. Now it's just everybody's girlfriend, everybody's boyfriend.
Well, no, I think the people what people are saying is
different than what?
No, when you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, they're now labeling. Well, it is, but
It's dating.
no, they're not calling it dating. They're saying that's a
That's what I'm saying.
relationship.
That's a
That's a
relationship.
relationship.
We changed the label.
No, and I agree.
If you're talking to people, there's no commitment between us. So you can talk to 20 people.
Right.
That's none of my business. But when we're dating, now going out on a date is different than dating.
Oh, I see what you're saying. See, I'm thinking of the act of going out
Out
on
on
dates.
dates.
That's where I'm
You
at.
just talking to him. And
No,
whatever
we're
else y'all
actively
doing.
going out on a date.
So y'all
for
went
me,
on a date or y'all dating?
If we go out on multiple
Multiple
dates,
dates.
we're dating.
Yes.
Okay. So how can you do that with multiple people?
Because you're just dating. And see,
Yeah.
I think this
Just getting
there's
to know
similar-
each individual. You're getting to know each individual
I know
as
what
you go out.
I know what you do there, but what are you doing?
doing it.
You're
And
dating.
I think you're looking at it similar to how it seems like everybody else is, but just in different tiers. The talking is like the preliminary stage for you, and then to dating, and then relationship, and then marriage for you.
Yeah. I don't think you need 47 stages.
And see,
And that's what people confuse things.
honestly, and see, I think for what we're saying is the talking and dating together are kind of combined, and from my perspective, where that talking is dating, where people have the autonomy to be able to date multiple people to see whom they would be interested in having a relationship with, and then that exclusivity comes in when you have that relationship, and then from there, if it seems like, hey, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person, then that was what it would tier to marriage.
But this is what happens when we listen to women.
Oh, wow. When you listen to women.
Women have made this thing multi-layered. It used 3 stages. You don't need 27 stages.
It's not 27 stages.
It is.
If I'm say
We
say
just kinda going
I
with the
meet
flow.
someone.
Okay,
out.
go
I
with the
meet
flow.
somebody.
Flow will flow you out.
Somebody messages me,
Absolutely.
and then we're now texting,
That's not talking. That's texting.
or they call and we talk on the phone a few
Okay,
times.
now you're talking.
Then they say, I'm very clear that I'm not looking to really talk, I want to date because I'm moving toward.
So you're going on a date.
That's how we have to start.
Okay.
And so that's how we get to know whether we enjoy being around each other through dating.
So it's talking, a date, dating?
If we go on multiple dates.
I'm asking.
If the date goes well, then we go out again on the next.
Okay,
so we went out Sunday.
So now
then
you're
we go
dating.
out again on Wednesday. Then we go out again on Saturday.
Okay, so now you're dating.
Like that. Now we're actually actively dating.
Okay, now that's actually dating a person, not multiple.
But it could happen that way.
Let me go ahead and give
Friday and then be like, my friend hits me up and he's like, well, hey, I want to go to the football game on the following Saturday. And I went out with him and I went out with the guy I went out with on Wednesday. And that's just me dating.
Yeah, but you're dating multiple people. So
we're just going out on dates.
Let me give you the scenario for this.
You're going to change the scenario we already have?
No, but I'm going to kind of give just a scenario on what I have for this. Okay, so a guy was dating a girl. He happened to go out with his friends to a bar. He happened to see her sitting there with another guy. He approached her. It got kind of loud. She says, I'm on a date. I'm not your girlfriend. Why did you approach me while I'm on a date? I'm not your girlfriend. We went on a few dates, yes, but I'm not your girlfriend. Oh. So they got into a big,
It's the classic thing. People not communicating.
Fussing back and forth, and they end up leaving. Everybody ends up getting kicked out. So do you feel like he was wrong for approaching her?
Yes.
No.
He was wrong for not communicating what he thought.
That's where the wrong is.
So I guess that's what I'm saying. So because he approached her in that moment, I think that's a conversation for later.
No.
Why?
Because
right then and there.
Think about perspective. His reality. We're dating, but similar to how we say the different stages are same thing but different names.
Yeah.
If we're dating and I'm being exclusive, or I feel like, hey, we have something that's a bit more serious, and that's his perspective, I'm not waiting till later
why would I wait till later?
You disrespecting me now,
right?
You're not disrespecting me. I think that she didn't even know that she was disrespecting.
In her interpretation, he's not, but in his, because they haven't communicated what they're doing. We have a problem.
So that's everybody's fault.
We got a problem right now. Yeah. It's the man's fault.
Yeah.
Because he didn't establish what they were doing.
But it's okay, even though it's his fault. It's okay for him to approach her while she's on a date.
He can approach her. Now, how he approaches her, he shouldn't be rude.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be loud, obnoxious. No.
But while she's sitting there with another guy.
No, you go,
and she says they only been on 2 dates.
Okay, it don't matter. Only what? It only starts with one.
Listen.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, now you have ownership.
Like men are like butthurt about.
Okay,
no, it's not about. It's not about. I don't think it's about being hurt. It's about the point of what. Now
Okay.
Like I think what y'all are looking at is from your perspective, going, how dare he? Okay, well here's the thing. On that, yes, he did not communicate, which is his fault. Now he has to deal with it in that moment, and not many people. Period. Because you're saying men be butthurt. Let it have been a woman.
Flip the situation.
A woman would have definitely ran up on you.
I would have put my head in the sand.
Well,
no,
of course.
No, a woman would have ran up.
But I'm not confrontational in that way.
No,
I'm really not.
Most women, I'm gonna tell you what they would have done. Most women would have called your phone first to see if you answer.
Yeah, that's
no.
What
If they see you, they text you.
Yeah, and then they text you to see, hey, what you doing?
I hope you have a good time over there.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden it's this, and then you look up and it's eye contact. And
that's not a confrontation.
No, then she gonna roll up on you.
That's confrontation to them.
That's acknowledgement. I'm letting you know I see you.
Yeah, but you also letting that woman know there's a problem. Now she recognizes what is
going on
here. You got to kind of do that just a little bit to make sure she's clear that you're not the only one.
But you're being confrontational.
That's not confrontational.
If you don't want to be confrontational, don't say anything.
Don't say anything.
I would just say something to him.
I agree. You shouldn't say anything if you're not going to be confrontational. Now, I'm not texting you. I'm not involving myself in that situation.
See, and then
you gonna text.
Women wouldn't leave that alone.
I'm actually gonna leave you alone because I already know in my head, like, it's either you're gonna lie to me or you're not going to respond to me. So there's no need in me trying to involve myself in that situation.
Well, I feel like just from someone who's been in that situation. So I was out with the guy I was talking to at that time, and another guy that I hadn't talked to in a while. We were just cool, but he was really upset, and so he kept walking by the table. It was very awkward.
Passive aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we at Buffalo Wild Wings. Why are you? There's no place to walk.
Okay. You know what he should have did?
What's that?
Call the referee.
No. Call. No. He should have called the waitress that was dealing with y'all
and say y'all drinks.
No, pay for the bill.
Pay for the bill.
Pay for the bill, and then say
when they ask
smart aleck with me like that. With the right guy, he'd be like, "Yeah, thanks, appreciate it."
Oh no, that's the wrong guy.
No, that's the wrong guy.
That's definitely the wrong guy.
That's the wrong guy.
But I feel like that it's the communication. So I feel like for me, especially with guys though, if he had told his friends, if he's there at the bar with his friends, and he felt embarrassed, I could see him moving towards some sort of confrontation faster.
But you keep saying confrontation. I just need to talk to you.
Bro,
right then and there.
Yes. And see, and even the way that you said that you would handle it, if you want to switch the terms, it may not have been confrontational, but you confronted the situation.
Oh, yeah.
It's literally the same thing.
Yeah,
it's just the way that he chose to do it.
Yeah.
So he's just
psychotic
addressing
way to do it.
Now, would you respect?
I'm actually crazier than that.
Would you respect
know
a
you
man?
are.
Would you respect a man who texted you while you was with another dude? That look weak.
Truly.
Yeah, that looks weak. Now I'ma still not get you. You want to date with somebody, and I'ma still not get you.
Listen, if I'm gonna lose in the most comfortable way that I'm gonna feel to be able to get everything I got.
Lose
out.
on your terms.
Right.
Now, what if she explained to you
She can't explain that to me.
early that she dates multiple guys?
Then he wrong.
Then he's wrong.
Then he's wrong. Confrontation and all that.
So what
Wrong
if he
for
just? Sometimes I think guys don't receive what you're saying in that way.
What you mean?
Like, so if I'm like, okay, are we together? And they're like, no, we're not together. And then you say, well, I'm dating
other people.
I'm dating other people, and they were like, whatever, because they just
Do
not
what you want to do.
They're not really thinking that you're going to date other people. I don't think.
If she says we dating other people, we dating other people.
That's right.
Gee, I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago on the show. It's not about knowing that we're dating other people. I just don't want to know. I don't want to see. Don't want to hear.
But see, I can't help what you walk into.
I don't want to see.
You should go on a date
hear.
outside of our city.
I don't have to go outside of my city.
But
I don't want to. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we could do whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear. We ain't got to talk about the other guys. If I walk in the place, I don't want to see you with the other. Like I'm gonna have enough respect for that situation.
Right.
However it is.
Why wouldn't you want to? Like, why are you avoiding it?
I don't say it's not avoidance. I'm just saying I don't want to have a conversation about it because that's what you want. If you want, I'm seeing other people as well.
If she told you she was dating other people, there is no conversation. She told you.
He just doesn't want to see her at all with other people. It's just like
then say I can't handle this situation.
No,
and I'm not going to do it.
But knowing something and the actualization of it are two different things. Lloyd made a whole song about it. If you playing me, keep it on the low.
Yeah.
Like, so there's a lot of dudes who had that mentality. I ain't one of them. If you let me know what it is, I'll make my choices and move forward. But if they don't see something in front of them,
it's not real.
It's almost like it's not real to them.
Yeah. Well, that's okay.
Delusional to a certain degree. I'm just saying, but for that.
But I'm sorry for speaking over you.
No, go ahead.
I understand what you're saying.
Today.
Yeah, it happens often. I just ride with it.
I'm trying to be nice today.
She's cordial.
I
She got
like
gas.
that.
She knows she
For his company.
Yeah, you don't act out in public. That's what this is.
Got it. Okay. Go ahead, Nique.
I was gonna say something, but I'm not. I'm gonna save it to after the show. But
Hey, listen, I ain't scared.
I know you're not. You don't care. But no. But going back, I understand what you're saying when you don't want to see it. You don't want to hear. You don't want to hear about it because I don't want to hear about it either. I don't care about seeing it, but I don't want to hear about it. But you can't control if somebody is out in public and you happen to walk to that bar.
Leave her alone.
No, it's not. No, because he's saying I don't want to walk into a bar and see you.
No,
you can't control that.
The way I think it may have my intent. The way it came off might have been wrong. What I'm saying is, what I meant to say by that is, if I come in, like, it's not a situation where you want to, like, know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not in that place. So I don't care what you're doing.
I know what the problem is.
What is the problem?
You haven't felt the warmth of that woman because that provides you a certain amount of security.
Oh my God!
I'm just telling you. I didn't want. I don't
feel insecure. I feel insecure in that.
What warmth?
The warmth.
Are you talking about her actual warmth
Her
or
biblical warmth.
Biblical warmth.
So you don't know her?
He don't know her.
He
like once you know her,
her
and you're comfortable with where y'all are, I could see it. But it was like, guess what, my guy?
He didn't.
Now I'm gonna flip that though, bro. Sometimes if you know it and you know how good it is. Oh no! Ain't nobody else getting this. Nah.
If the pool, is really warm,
another problem.
If the pool is really warm, you want to make sure you dip.
You need a certain amount. Well, you're saying it from a sexual aspect. I'm saying it from a security aspect.
Here we go, Seal.
Security, like you want to feel like I have a connection with this person and we've reached the height. This is just your first date, my guy. No.
Or is
What
it?
if they already had sex though?
Because if we've been on 2
If I
dates,
don't know, it don't matter. It's not true.
Going back to the point.
What's he gonna? No. You said see them together.
No,
she gonna
no,
tell
I
me
was
she
saying-
had
I
sex
was-
with this man? Like, come on, fam.
No, I was just no.
But
And
really,
if she does tell me that, I'm gonna dap him up. That's gonna make her feel even worse.
Oh wow! See how men work together?
You hit you too. Let me tell you something. Man. Can I get you a drink, sir?
I think
That ain't good, is
but
it?
I do think that is where the line is drawn in some of these things. So, anytime I'm in an argument, if I've ever gotten in an argument about something, it's because so he's sharing, and we're very, we might be very open about what's happening. We're not together. Anytime that it's turned like left is when I feel like I am allowed to share as well.
What you mean share?
can see
He don't
that.
really want to hear you about what you.
Wait, you telling me?
yeah, but that's different.
He telling that to make you. He telling that to get a rise out you. You
Right, so
telling
when
that-
I tell you-
you saying it to hurt.
No, I'm not.
That
I'm
hurt.
saying-
I'm like, oh my lord.
Now watch this. I'm a Steve Harvey real quick. Y'all know we sensitive as men, and there's
Very.
certain things that y'all can handle and take.
Very.
That if it comes to
Fragile.
us, we go. Guess what? Y'all know what it is, and y'all still here. So you know what I mean, but no, there are things that if we hear it, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have an issue that y'all hear and be fine with. So
It's
yeah.
not really being fine though. I think we just kind of like, okay, this is what
Throw
it
it to the
is,
back of our head.
and it's like we get in situationships.
But y'all are prepared to handle that. We're not.
at all.
That's where I run into the issue because I get
See,
confused.
y'all know men are trash. We don't think y'all trash. We don't think y'all trash.
Women are not supposed to be.
So when you do something, be like, oh my god.
Like
You
I
are trash, and I love you, and you are trash, and now I'm mad with myself.
said. So that's
So we don't want to
woke
hear
up-
that. We
I woke
can't
up to
handle
like
it.
a book because of something similar like this, and I think it's just because I'm like, well, I thought we were at this point
No,
because you're doing,
we're trash. Don't be trash with
trash.
us.
and
We
so
don't want that.
it has turned into like world
It
war
absolutely
IV.
should. That man is correct.
Oh wow.
Because
But-
he didn't know you was like that. He didn't know that.
Well, I'm gonna go to the next talking point.
Okay.
All right. So while you're in this dating phase, do you feel like it's okay for that person to test you to see if you're ready for a relationship?
Okay.
What is
So I
that?
can give you an example of that.
Please do.
So say that you're out on you've been on a few dates, and casually one day y'all are just together, and he says, "Hey, buy me something to eat."
The guy?
Yes. This individual said, the woman says, "No, I can't do it right now."
Okay.
He gets mad, takes her home,
Why would he get mad?
calls her broke.
Okay. Why would you get mad?
He says, and this is a real situation.
Well, that's a lack of maturity on his behalf.
He
Yeah.
says he was testing her to see if she
No,
is
he's
down
not.
for him.
That's lack of maturity. That's
Buy
not
me
mean. That don't
something
mean you
to
down
eat.
with me. Buy something
yeah.
to eat.
I mean, I think that you should balance in some way, but if I'm ever out and somebody try to surprise me with buy me something to eat, I'm like,
No.
no.
You a clown.
But if I'm like, I don't think anything's wrong with that. I mean, if we both work, then I could buy food
But-
sometime. But it's just like if you're like,
But it's a matter of
buy me something to eat, I'm like,
this is a matter of a poor test.
yeah, it's
'Cause,
just,
okay,
just a bad
yes.
test.
It's not even a good test.
And he failed for giving the test.
Yeah, it's like,
Yes.
You failed your
if
own
you
test.
ask me that certain times of the month, I'd be like,
No.
buy you no food right now. You know I work.
Do you see all the stuff I have? I don't have time to buy you food.
Now I will say this, that I think that the testing thing, and I'm doing the air quotes, is something that's a component, but it's not so much a test as it is a temperature check. And I don't
Yeah.
think that those are a bad thing, but to test somebody like that way, like they said, that's just a poor test.
Yeah.
Or a poor way of doing it.
And
Yeah.
and I really want to say, like, this is something that's real, that really actually happened. And the guy is like, he's really hard on defending it, and other women and men are defending him.
Well, I think I understand what his test. It's like I understand the question of the test.
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
You know, but he could have just done it as if they go on a series of dates, and if she never offers to pay,
Yeah, that's
then that's the test.
That's-
It's
yeah.
not even like, buy me something to eat. If you,
Right, and especially
We're-
on
we're-
that.
Why'd you bring me to a restaurant talking about buy me something to eat?
And then she had already eaten. So
She had
he
already-
was, yeah,
okay.
he was like, I wanted food, so I asked her.
but I think
Buy me
that
food.
men do that. I think that was a game that I've been a part of. I'd be like, hey, can you stop by so and so and get
Give me
this and
something to
I'll-
eat.
or just bring this or get some batteries or get, and I'd be like, okay, weirdo. But but I think it was a part of just to see, I think some people who are acts of service type people, they do that just to see how that's going to be received.
And that's big.
Like my ex does that and be like, oh, let's see how mad we are at each other. Let me ask you to do something. And if you do it, I feel like we're still friends.
Temperature check.
Yeah, it's a temperature
but you
check.
shouldn't have to force somebody to do that. You should just wait for them to do that.
Yeah,
But if they don't know that you need that thing, though, because like if you didn't know that that's who he was and he started doing those things, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
So like you got to, and that's why I said the temperature check is something that I feel like is cool, because if there's certain things that I know that I need that I'm not receiving, I'm either me personally, I'm going to communicate them and say, hey, this is what I need.
That
I've
should
not
be the
yet
test,
gotten
communication.
it. Right. And if you've said that, now if she doesn't know that that's one of the things he needs, he just trash for trying to put somebody on the spot. You got to communicate your needs.
And
It seems so weird.
I think the thing that bothered me about that, I guess not bother me because I don't care one way or the other. But
It's bothering.
Another untruth, but okay.
I mean, what you mean untruth?
You do care.
You do care.
No, his situation ain't got nothing to do with me.
I'm just saying.
okay.
Okay.
We're talking about caring. We're not talking about him or her. We're talking about caring.
Anyway, yeah. So the situation in it is, first off, you came the way it comes off is just altogether wrong. Just
Garbage.
Hey, can you just I don't feel comfortable doing that to anybody, period.
Right.
Like I just would never do that. Like, hey, can you get me something to eat? How does that, as a man, how does that even sound?
That's because you're an adult, bro.
Yeah, like, but how does that even sound?
I mean,
Like,
Well,
now, if I'm out with my boys or whatever, and we tight, people I'm tight with, and I might not have it before. Hey man, let's go out. Bro, I ain't really got it.
Right.
that's
so
different.
that's
And if,
that's what I'm
if
saying.
she's on the way to your, like I said, if I'm on the way to your house and then you're like, hey, stop by so and so to get some food, that's
Do
a
you
temperature
mind?
check.
Yeah, do you mind picking me up something on your way?
Then if she's like, oh, it was 13:16 when you get there, then we're like, okay, that's a mental note.
no,
But his
no,
test was just poor.
No.
And then the second part, the second
no.
part.
That
I mean, you can pay her back with that test.
But that's also a woman's test.
What do you
Yeah.
mean?
I asked you to do something for me. I didn't specify that I wasn't going to pay you.
Yeah.
So she's expecting payment. So
That's
now,
a test, though.
No, it's a test, but
Yeah.
it's when a man tests a woman and then the woman reverse tests.
Yeah.
So
Reverse
she's back.
tests?
Yes, tests. She came back. That's what ESS. Yes, she reverse tests and says it was 1360.
Why did she reverse test?
Because first of all, a woman's job is to test the man she's with.
That is not
Every
her
day.
job.
But why
Every
did she
day.
make that test? That
Well, listen,
particular test?
Nique, we're talking about women. It don't have to make sense.
It don't have to make all kind of sense.
wow.
Number one, it
So
does not have to make sense.
It does not.
Everything we do makes sense.
Well, second, to her, that's the only person. Like this don't matter to nobody else. And she might be specific. She don't even want you to give her 1360. She wants you to give her $20 or $15. If you give her the exact change, she's gonna be like, "What? Who am I dating?"
You know what? That is a true statement. A lot. I've heard a lot of women say
I just want
that.
to hear the offer. Sometimes, not even usually.
But that's
not in them.
That's why I said it's a test.
But if we're dating, that is just like you said. I agree.
that is another test.
And
Like that's
the
what
guy
women
that
do.
we're talking about. His test was a bad test.
Very bad test.
So what he's trying to find out is reasonable.
Yes, very much so.
But that's not how you find it out.
And how,
Right.
or how you react to what you did.
Yeah.
Because his reaction is like,
Well, it's the changing of energies. Men aren't supposed to test women.
no.
Well, I think that I pay attention to what guys are doing, like in the dating stage,
You should.
like tipping.
You should.
Like I
Oh
pay
yeah, you
attention
definitely
to.
gotta pay attention to the tip.
Yeah, I'm like, well, because I found that if you're a bad tipper, I make that in my mind, and then I find that you pretty much just probably are a crappy person.
Yep.
So let me ask y'all, specifically the ladies, do y'all pay attention more to what a guy does or what he says in a relationship?
Well, I think it's easy to get blinded by what he's saying, but I have been more action driven as I've gotten older. I think.
Yeah.
I think
I'll
when I was
agree.
younger, and of course, he said he's going to do this. He said he's going to do this. But one thing I do require. I like now. I want to see action, and I want to hear the words too, because then as a part of my accountability in general, or their accountability, if you can put something in words too. So if you're doing this, you're actively doing this, you're actively showing love, then I also need you to be able to say that you love me, or here's what we're doing. I need you to be able to tie certain things together. But
Now, just a question: would that be anything like a test?
that's not a
What is it?
It's just a part of dating and getting
it's
to
a
know.
part of what women has always done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to see it action. You have to see the action.
It's just hardwired in your nature. You have to tap into applying it to the guy you're dating. But this is something that's tapped into women to dealing with men.
Answering your question. Yeah. As I got older, I only look at actions because a lot of men don't know how to voice things and they don't know how to use their voices at times. They're not used to just saying I love you. They're used to showing I love you. So I'm okay with actions more than just words. Sometimes they just talk just to talk. They say
both.
what they think.
You got to have both.
I think there's got to be both.
Think what you want to hear.
And particularly with love, I think I need to hear that, and I need to see that.
Okay.
So I think the action is very important, but you also need to hear, because I've had somebody, I love me to death every day. I love you. I love you. I love you. It's like, it gets, but then it's nothing
behind it.
Nothing showing, nothing shown. And that doesn't work.
I don't want to get,
and it goes back to me, like growing up. I don't care about hearing I love you because like my mom is not a big affectionate person. I'm not affectionate. So I'm okay with not always hearing it. It's a fact of showing it.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too far off the topic, but the reason I asked, something you said made me think about it. I remember a situation from a friend of mine that was dating at the time, but he wasn't looking for anything serious. And so he specifically said, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm not looking for anything serious. And he was dating multiple women, but because of the kind of guy that he was
good at it.
He was good at it. And each one of them fell head over heels, and because of the affection he was showing, at the time that he was given, going out on dates, doing all the things that you guys are looking for. But he clearly stated, I do not want a relationship.
We don't really hear that.
Or Cliff.
That plays back in my mind.
Cliff.
I mean, we don't.
After a bad situationship, that plays back in my mind whenever anybody says that.
But I told you that in all confidence. And for you to get on this podcast and put that out here like that,
my bad, bro.
I think that violates our agreement.
I think people, like specifically what you're talking about, I think, and that's where we need to go back to the topic, but that's a part of it because guys can clearly say that. But I think fortunately and unfortunately, we still function as we're the exception to that.
But why though? Because if he's clearly said that,
because everybody feels like they're the exception and not the rule.
Because women think they're special.
Yeah, every woman thinks they're special, and once you make a woman feel special,
you don't have to make it. She already thought it before you even
got there. Before you even got there,
she thought it since she was 3.
Yeah,
because you're supposed to.
But you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong.
But I think that we still, regardless of what's happening, we want to say, okay, well, he does this with me, and I am different.
Yes.
And as a result, even if it's not even, sex doesn't even have to be involved, but that's what we would like to believe. And that's, it just is what it is. So we don't hear that. You might as well just keep it to yourself.
In a situation like that, if the gentleman says, I don't want a relationship, would y'all rather be just treated like trash?
But that's not what a woman heard.
No.
I don't want a relationship with everybody else, but you might be different.
You're going to be different with me.
I think we hear, and I'm better now that I'm older. We hear, I'm not looking for a relationship, but I haven't met you yet.
Exactly.
Or even then, they say they don't always say I don't want a relationship. They'll say I don't want a relationship right now, and we hold on to that right now.
He just hasn't met me yet.
Yeah, that's all.
I'm gonna make him change his mind.
Don't want a relationship, do you?
Right now.
So that to a woman, all she hears is challenge.
But
challenge accepted.
Yeah.
And so then after a couple, I'm gonna cook for him. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, and then we find ourselves getting disappointed and hurt and
mad.
He told us from the jump. But what that actually means when I hear that, so after a couple weeks or a month of that. The reality of it is now that I'm older and have had more experience with this, that just means he doesn't want to be in a relationship with me then.
Okay. Well, why couldn't you just leave him alone? If you don't want to be in a relationship, then I'm good, bro.
Yeah.
But I just didn't hear that at first.
Because you heard challenge in your mind. You like, I'm going, okay, he's trying to try me.
And the fact that he's given all of the, again, affection, the gifts, the stuff that he's supposed to, she's like, oh, I still want this.
Because we see a coward. So then at the end, we're like, oh, you're a coward. You're running away from your feelings. And then we see like, oh, you're a terrible person because, that's why we get into the F-boy thing, like, oh, you did all this different stuff. You met my mom. You came to this with me, whatever. And he was just being nice.
Honest.
honest from the beginning.
But his actions are not there. So I have to have both. Like you guys say, I agree.
Gotta have both.
Gotta have both. I need to see, and then we have to be actively moving in direction.
But that's what confuses him. He's doing all the other things, but saying one thing. So he needs to do less.
And some guys do less.
And do less.
And a lot of times those guys that do less, I mean, they
get more.
Yeah. Well, they, in some situations, because sometimes you're not looking for the guy who's trying to date you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just need to call the guy.
Pull up.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes you need
The mechanic.
How's that working out for the ladies? We want to go poll on that?
What? Just calling the guy?
Yeah.
Everybody got one.
Yeah, but it ain't the guy you want.
You're not trying to want him.
Yeah.
Though. Sometimes you just
Listen,
Sneaky link.
you can be sneaky as you like. At some point, the woman gets caught up.
Not all the time.
guy gets-
Sometimes the
the guy
guy
gets
gets caught up.
I will say this: not all the time.
Somebody gonna get caught up?
but 97% of the time, it's y'all.
And how is the guy getting caught up?
because
His
he's
feelings.
Because he wants to keep having sex with you? He's
Yeah.
not caught up. He wants to keep having sex with you. That's not
sex
not
is
caught
not
up.
stopping.
Me,
No.
he ain't.
He gets caught up because
If he's
he
caught
can't
up,
accept that he's
if
just
he's caught
sneaking
up, he's gonna want every bit of you. If I'm just keep having sex with you, I don't want you.
Yeah.
I just enjoy having sex with you.
And that's
Be a
okay.
Friday.
That's not okay, Nique. That's not okay.
You can just have sex.
Let's not normalize this. That is not okay.
But if that's what you're looking for at the time, like, so, sometimes when women get
But that is a lie.
But at the time,
No woman just
Sometimes.
doesn't want to keep giving her stuff away and get nothing out of it.
you're not going to get nothing.
You get nothing.
You could get things.
Yeah.
No, you ain't getting no things.
Whew.
You think you getting things, you ain't getting
But I
nothing.
mean, you really, at the end of the day, you might just be, you
That's a trade. You're not getting nothing. You gave me something, I gave you something. We're back equal.
Thank you.
So you're not getting anything.
But it just depends on how much, I guess, you value.
No, it depends on how much a woman lies to herself. Says, no, I'm winning. No, you're losing. You just got some Air Maxes. You lost. You lost, dear.
But,
Now, what kind of Air Maxes we talking?
a retro Air Max?
720, something new. You lost. You lost.
We're gonna roll into relationships. The next segment.
Okay.
When do you know that you're in a relationship?
When someone says we are in a relationship.
Bam.
Bam.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That's all. I'm not at this point in my life. I cannot afford to do any more. I'm
Girlfriend
assuming
things.
that we're doing that.
Situationships.
Seems like we are.
No. When a woman asks, I don't do this. I'm not gonna keep doing this.
Yeah, that's when you're in a relationship.
Nobody asked you to do this.
That's when you're in a relationship.
No, you told me you just wanted to have sex with somebody, and it was me. And now you talking about I don't be doing that.
But this is
You've
what
been doing this for a
But we
year.
all do that as women.
Yes.
Eventually, you get to that
But
point.
why?
It's like I don't want to keep
But
doing
why?
this.
No,
Don't say but why. I can tell you why. Because they're liars. That's why.
All women are liars.
They're
huh?
liars.
No.
In that regard, on that subject, even my mother.
Period.
She's a liar.
No, here's the thing that
I don't want nothing.
and you guys' honesty and transparency is refreshing, but so many other women are like confused, like they're like you said, being honest to yourself. They believe their lies, and so now it's like you confused, but you know the truth, and now you're trying to trick me that the lie is the truth.
Just like with anything else, if you believe, you tell yourself a lie long enough,
You're gonna believe
it becomes
it.
your truth. Unfortunately, because you're seeing things that just really aren't there.
Right.
So if it's like, well, help me do this around my house, right? Mm-hmm. And then they help you do it. And then somebody might be like, oh, he was up there doing this. I'm like, yeah, girl, he came over and helped me. But in your head
That's
that
how they
he's your
tell it
friend.
too.
Right.
That's how they
He's your
tell
friend.
it.
He came and hung these pictures for me.
Yeah,
Yep. He came and did my yard work.
yeah, but he does yard work. It's like, it's okay. He doesn't mind, And so once you get to that point, but I think that comes with experience and definitely like age too. Cause you get to that point where like, oh, well, he does like to be outside. So it really, him riding the lawnmower over here was really like, he literally, you said, he passed by your house and y'all have been kicking it.
Yeah.
Right.
And you need to cut your grass. So him being on the lawnmower meant really just simply that. Sometimes it's just not that deep.
Okay.
And I think we want it to be deeper.
deeper.
You think they romanticize the actions?
Oh, we do.
I know.
But
That's how men get that upper hand.
Listen, G ain't no fun. G's like, yeah, we do that.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, we do that.
But for example, like during the act, right? So if you're talking about sex and those things and how people feel like, oh, it was special because we kissed, or it was special because we did those different things, and only over time do you understand that doesn't mean anything. He could just be a kisser.
That is true. You could just be a kid.
Some people are, so then some people feel special about that, like forehead kisses and just
Yeah.
stuff that doesn't mean anything to
And
a
it's
lot
just
of people.
who he is.
But see, and that's funny to me because it goes back to even just the crux of the topic, that communication is big. Because if you're assuming something, you thinking it's one thing, your perspective is your reality. The other person just doesn't have a clue. I was talking to my cousin, my best friend, about a situation he was going through. He was like, she asked for such and such and such, and I gave it to her. And I dropped him with my 6-quarter analogy.
Okay.
If a woman asked me and says, hey, I need 6 quarters. Matter of fact, I'll use my wife. And we've had to work on this a lot. If she says, I need 6 quarters, there was once upon a time in my mind, oh, she needs 6 quarters. I'm going to go get a $1 bill and 5 dimes. She needed $1.50. I gave her what she needed, but she specifically needed those 6 quarters. And so we're communicating, but not on the same wavelength. I heard $1.50. You said 6 quarters. It is the same thing, but from the perspective,
unless you go to laundromat, it's not the same thing.
But and that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's 6 one way, half a dozen another.
Yep.
Similar, but not the same. And that's where the communication has to be established, whether you're dating, talking, or whatever, to be able to allow it to be that much more effective. So that communication is just huge. That's real big.
Really big.
Okay, I'm going to go to the next talking point. Do people tend to focus too much on marriage than actually enjoying the relationship?
Just depends on who it is.
Depends on the age sometimes, too.
Yeah.
You're actually functioning in your mission, like right now. So if I'm like, I'm 30 plus, and
I was waiting too.
and so if I'm dating now, it's like I've changed how I, just look at the whole thing. Just because, you just deciding where you're going to be with it. Either dating to get married, dating to have a child really quickly, dating to, all those, that just goes into focusing on marriage or whatever, however you feel that's going to.
Okay. Cliff, if we can ask you.
Sure.
You can decline this question if you choose.
I decline.
I plead the fifth. How did you get from that point to proposing?
Full transparency. My wife and I got married really young. We were 25 when we got married. And we dated through college, and I was really, really crazy and wild, and she put up with way more than she probably should have.
Okay.
During that time, I think it was similar to what this question was. I was at a point where I was finally starting to grow up a little bit. I wasn't a big kid anymore, and I was looking at it as, okay, well, she done put up with me all this time. I know she's a good woman. I'm gonna go ahead and marry her because it's what I'm supposed to do. It's the next evolutionary step. And so during that time, it was just what I was supposed to do, and it was, the next, like I said, next step towards manhood for me to propose.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a part of your maturation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, because she helped with that a lot. Because as I mentioned, all throughout undergrad and even afterwards, there was times where I was a big kid. I mean, just my personality, who I was, and she's always been a more reserved, low-key kind of person, and assimilating some of her skills and some of her attributes into myself helped me to realize, okay, well, there's more than just barking on the yard or being out and being wild. So,
so it's what she deserved.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't like how I answered that.
Yeah.
I just walked into it.
Yeah, you walked into that one. I was like, go on, Cliff. Go away from the light.
Don't do it, bro.
Go away from the light.
Wow. Yusuf?
Sir?
As the only other person who has been married, as far as I know. Yeah.
You surprise us sometimes.
Look, she's
Be
like,
like,
No, Nique, you surprised me.
No, because you'll go in there and be like, well, back in, a few years ago, surprisingly, back in Texas.
I was married for 30 minutes.
I've been asked.
Okay.
But not like,
Yusuf, how does one make that transition?
Well, I think for me, the person, they get a feeling that they never had before.
You talking about you?
No, I'm just saying.
I'm asking about you.
About me?
About you.
Remember,
Yusuf.
I've been engaged. I've been married once, engaged, and engaged twice.
I'm still asking about you.
No, I'm getting to the point.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
If you let me get to the point. All right, because one, I felt an obligation in my marriage. I felt obligated to do it.
Okay, obligated. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't in love with her. I didn't love her to that extent to get married. But some things had transpired.
Okay.
To push me in a place to say, oh, okay, well, this is what I'm supposed to do. And so, since this is what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Thus, the reason why those things don't last, because as from experience, I'm divorced.
Okay.
And I think year 1 was rocky. Year 2 was amazing. But then, well, like the first 7 months, and then we got separated. So it was inevitable that was going to happen because my mindset going in our marriage wasn't based on love. It was based on, hey, look, this is what we should do because we got kids, because we live together.
Okay.
You know, your mama ain't having this. They're shacking up.
So you really didn't enjoy the dating experience going back to what Nique.
Well, no, because we dated.
Mm-hmm.
She ended it. She broke up with me.
Okay.
Then she came back, called me, said, I'm pregnant.
What's the P word?
Don't know if it's yours. I don't know if it's yours. I'll let you know.
Jeez. That's not.
About a month or two later, call me back. Yes, I am pregnant. It is yours. I'm giving it up for adoption. Was out. And then I kind of fought that. Mm-hmm. Kind of got back into, hey, look, I'm going to be around for my kid. I'm going to do what I got to do. Blah, blah, blah. So we get to the point. Tried to get back together. It didn't work. Mm-hmm. So then here we go again. We're back on the outs. And so it basically was a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
P word again?
Then she ended up pregnant again. Like this been in this whole 4-year span of me and her. Yeah, this 4-year span of me and her was the cops have been called once. Like it was a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Jamie was at my house the day it was, the day that the cops were called. So it was a lot of stuff, and it just got to a point where, hey, we done been through all of this, and now we live together. So I guess we have 2 kids, so I guess we supposed to be married.
So you really never enjoyed just being in a relationship?
No, not at all. And then when I got engaged for the second time, now for me, I enjoyed that process. I enjoyed. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna choose my words carefully here.
Please.
Yeah, because CL done. Yeah.
Well, CL just gave me the eye when I started talking.
Yeah.
I genuinely loved her. It was pretty much a feeling for me where I felt like, oh man, I could be with her for the rest of my life.
Okay.
And so that's why I chose to propose to her.
Okay.
And I enjoyed being in a relationship with her. I mean, all the way from courting her, all the way up until, everything.
The second time you was engaged, right?
Yeah, this is the second time I was engaged.
So you actually got to enjoy the relationship.
Yes, I did.
That made you want to get to marriage. Has anybody else been in a relationship where you just enjoyed the relationship to the point you kind of felt like this is the person I want to get married to?
G?
I knew it. I seen his eye. He was going to just turn to you, so that's why I looked at you.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Tell
but
more.
sometimes things just don't go in that direction for a variety of reasons. There's like life, and there's it just is what it is. I think you kind of grow. You can grow apart, not necessarily grow apart, but you're just growing in different directions. So I think how that saying is like the right person at the wrong time is still the wrong person.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I think sometimes you can't do anything about that part.
Oh wow.
CL.
Well, let me kind of divert from my brother for a second.
Gotcha.
Back to the point that I was saying. Back to the point, because I wanted to bring up a point about the second time I was engaged that I didn't get a chance to get out. Both people got to want to be in it.
True.
Facts.
And I think once I realized that she didn't want to be in it was when everything changed for me. So you could feel how you want to feel. And sometimes I think some women are just so in awe of oh shoot, he asked me to marry him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And whether they want to say yes or no, sometimes depending on how the proposal is, like if it's a public proposal,
they feel obligated to say yes.
Sometimes it seems to be an obligation to say yes, even though they may feel like it's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're not there. Mine's it happened at our son's first birthday.
Wow.
Are you trying to steal his thunder?
Yeah, you're trying to steal shine.
Listen, Amir could care less. He smashed the cake and looked at everybody. He
didn't even know what was going on.
What was going on?
He probably was like, what?
And I would say this: the public ones are they're better. When I proposed to my wife, she was graduating from grad school, and as they were walking off of the field, I grabbed her hand in front of everybody out there and did it there. So
That's so sweet. And it was a special day.
Okay, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because I had already talked with her mom and her grandma, and both of them were out there, of course, at graduation, in front of the whole campus and everything. It's like, so I can see why the public thing.
Yeah, the public. I mean, it
nice.
worked. I mean, I think we did a little video for Amir.
Okay.
Aww.
And so it was playing on the screen after they sung Happy Birthday. It was playing on the TV. So while it's playing, at the end of the video, she didn't know I did this. On the end of the video, I said, "Hey, whoever, will you marry me?" And so she was because it was scripting, writing on the screen, and you could see on the video, she's like, "Oh," and like so. Behind her, I'm on like one knee with the ring while the video's playing, and she doesn't know. So then she like turns around and is like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" And she turns around at me, and so it was good in that aspect. But I think it put her in such a place. It was all of our close friends. Mm-hmm. So even if she wanted to say no, she couldn't.
So that leads me to thinking about, like I said, I've had a conversation with someone about this. Like when I say ask, it wasn't a proposal. It was like literally, would you marry me? In the conversation. And I think that conversation is very important because the reality of it is the answer to that question was no.
Well, before we get to that, because that's into our marriage question, so hold that thought. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next one because I want to stay stuck in relationships. Because how do you put your significant other in their lane? Keep them in that girlfriend. Not saying like you don't want to marry them, but let's just enjoy the relationship. So let me give you a scenario. A woman said that she felt some type of way because her boyfriend had a family dinner. His mom, his dad, his aunts, his cousins were all at his house at a family dinner. She felt like he didn't love her because she wasn't invited.
Okay.
How do y'all feel about that? Do y'all feel like she should have been invited, or your girlfriend stay in your lane?
How long they been dating?
She said for 6 months.
Oh, she don't have to come.
No. She tripping.
Yeah.
Hard.
It's a family dinner.
I was ready to be on her side just now.
Yeah, it's kind of.
She lost me 6 months. No, bye. Excuse me.
Yeah.
No.
So how long do they have to be together for her to have to feel some type of way?
Why should she?
He's got to want to be. Sometimes family dinners are not for everybody.
They're not.
So,
and sometimes your
and that's a good
sucks.
point. And sometimes you don't want to expose the person, right? And they come back and go, "Oh, so this is what I got to look forward to."
So my brother scares everybody that I date.
Oh wow!
So I have to.
I can see that.
I have to, show just some. I have to just introduce lightly.
Okay.
Because I just don't want him to, one, be scared away. Two, so that's not personal. That's just, I'd rather you meet my brother on the other end of this. How serious are we?
Okay. And for me it was that. Now I know we scoffed at 6 months because some people may after 6 months.
I feel.
But for the regular folk, it's got to be a level. Like, let's say it's a year. If we're going to put a a number point on it. If they've been dating for a year and they're heading towards marriage, then I can see her possibly being in her feelings about it. But again, communication. He should say, "Well, hey, this is what's going on." And then say, "This is why you're not coming," so that there's communication. But other than that, you should be around my family because if we're moving towards marriage, then you need to see what you're getting into. Give people the option and the ability to make the decisions for themselves, so that if you see the family and my great aunt Vern with her 6 nose rings and 12 cats, it's something that you can't be married to.
Right.
Then you need to know that now, rather than once we done said I do, and now you running because my auntie got 12 cats.
Well, I think people get their families, you just like my family, when dating, like if you have children or whatever. So my grandmother was very strict about that, like I wouldn't. So if I'm dating a guy that has kids, I wouldn't necessarily bring him and the kid there without talking to my grandma first. Because my grandma, she throws out the B word often.
Oh, wow.
When she would, and she'd be like, and that was something that, I don't want you. She'd be like, "Oh, you brought the bastards." I'm like, "Oh,
whoa,
not the B word I was expecting."
No, that was not the B word that was in my mind.
But our family is that way. That's not who, everyone's married. Even if it was shotgun, even if it wasn't legit or they weren't in love, nobody has children they're not married. So now with this generation of older people, they're starting to see my cousins and them. They've had children and not, out of wedlock and stuff like that. So they struggle. And so I wouldn't just bring somebody to my house. Just like my brother, it might have taken him years to bring his then fiance to Thanksgiving. And it went downhill like we thought it would.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first time.
Oh, first time. Okay.
Now his wife's kids are older, but that's different. Like, but the little one, my grandma did not understand why you're dating someone with a child that's not yours.
Right. And see, for my family, it was kind of the other way around. I dated a lot coming up, and so like my family could tell based on my energy whether that person would either one be back or two what the severity of it was. I'll never forget. I dated a woman. She remember dating a while, and I brought her to like a family, whatever it was, and my auntie saw me, and she's like, "She ain't gonna be around a while, is she?" I said, "No, ma'am." No, ma'am. But then when I brought my wife there as my fiance, she saw how catering to her I was and everything, and so she was like, "Yeah, that's the one." I was like, "She might be around. You can get used to her."
Right.
Okay.
I was dating a guy back in college, and he took me home to his father had his father's job shut down Six Flags. So I guess they could have like a family and friends day. So he brought me to that, and we had to get up really early, go to where he was from to carpool with everybody. And I met his mom, I met his grandma on both sides. I met all his sisters, and I was sitting in the car with his sisters, and one of his sisters said, "He don't bring anybody home, so he's really serious about you." I was like, "Really?" And I felt so special.
Yeah, we tend to, but then some guys,
That's the setup.
like I said,
Hey,
some
make sure
guys
y'all
bring
give it
girls
to her.
home, bring girls home all the time.
Yeah.
And so but I know a lot of friends that got caught up in, well, I met his mom, and it's like his mom knows he's trash.
Listen, I don't.
But
Yeah.
see, I got close to
Oh,
his
you don't?
family.
Oh no. Well, first off, to meet my family, you got to travel.
Yeah, but
So that's the first thing. My dad could care less. Like my dad don't care.
That makes me feel so bad.
My dad doesn't care.
Yeah.
Period. I'm talking about nothing. Except his wife.
yeah,
I-
And then my
do-
mom,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
up until I would say a couple years ago, my mom would go, as soon as I left or whatever, or even in front of me, you do know he ain't shit, right? You do know that, right? Like you know he's his father's child, and his dad left me, and I'd be like, so at a young age, I learned,
Don't bring nobody home.
Don't bring
That's a
nobody.
no.
So I have to know that this person's gonna be around for a while, because my family is great. My dad, hey, your name is okay. Bye bye.
I dated
and walk on.
I dated a guy, and his mom was like that, and I even asked him. I said, "You must bring a lot of women home for her to act like that. Like it's just a hey, how you doing?
It could be
Okay,
her.
Nah, it's
but
just-
like as I stayed longer, it was like, hey, how you doing, Nique? Okay, and asking me questions was more warm. So I was like, yeah, you bring a lot of women home, but I'm the same way. I don't bring anybody home.
No,
My family don't meet new. I could be in a whole relationship, and my family, they'll know I'm in a relationship, but he don't meet my family.
Yeah, I
He
brought
don't
people.
meet my kids.
But it has to be. I brought people home, and I think we have to have something strong to deal with my family.
that's how I feel too. I mean, we have a full-fledged Thanksgiving program, so
No, my
I mean,
family.
I don't want nobody coming and seeing. We just do what we do. We do a lot,
Do a lot.
and so if you can't handle that, I mean, it's a lot.
My family is very welcoming, and they get close. Like they're gonna invite you to everything. Oh, we're gonna have family game night. Come. We're gonna have this. Come. And they're gonna make you feel like family. You're not gonna feel like an outsider.
Right.
So my family has gotten close to a guy before, and then we split up and we went our separate ways. And it's like, okay,
That means you brought somebody home.
one time, my kid's father.
Well, you said zero. And you
No,
said
she
one.
didn't
I
say
said-
zero. She
No,
just
I
said
just
she
said-
You
doesn't.
said I didn't bring anybody
said, I
home.
don't
I
bring
don't
people
bring
home.
people home.
Now,
So
I
you
was
brought someone.
Okay. When I was 20 years old, I brought
No
someone
one and someone
home.
are two different words.
And my family got really close to them, and he was around for years, and then we parted ways. And for years, my family, when I did bring somebody or even talk about it, somebody will be like, oh, what happened to so-and-so? So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna bring nobody home for y'all to get close to again until I'm for sure that we're going or heading to marriage.
So
really can't be for sure
There you
these
go.
days.
So-
You
There you
can't. You
Now, I
can't,
will say-
but I
Well, she's
have an
about to say-
idea
she
of
did bring somebody else, two people. Like,
So, I knew. I saw it. I saw the wheels turning.
Yeah, because you was like,
I can count.
So,
Okay, all right.
so my family is
right.
similar but different. Like when you're there, you're absolutely going to feel involved. You're going to feel welcomed. You're going to feel like a part of the family. But at the end of the day, their loyalty lies with me. So if you're there with me, then you're kind of under the covering, so to say. But they're not finna like willfully invite you to nothing else because you ain't pulling up without me.
That's kind of what my family is.
Yeah, it's just not.
Can I join y'all family?
Yeah, my family. They're gonna like whoever I bring, but they're not gonna be extra.
Right. Because once you're gone, you're gone.
Yeah, it's just.
Yep.
My brother's gonna give you a whole seminar on business and all of this.
My dad's not interested. When my ex, my dad, he pulled out, but he knew that we had gotten serious. He was like, "We should go shooting," and so we went out in the back and started shooting.
You tell a lot about a man how he can't carry himself with a gun. Now.
Yes, and so at the time, I was just so embarrassed because I was like,
"You don't know how to shoot."
He doesn't shoot. Oh. I mean, he does shoot, but not like that.
And you said it's an ex, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But now I just think that was a shock for him that I was shooting. And he was like, you're your dad's favorite son. I was like,
wow.
Maybe I am.
Yeah.
Wow. But that definitely helped me understand a little bit more about him and just he didn't have a relationship with his dad, and I do think that matters.
It does.
That I'm very very close to my dad. So.
Yeah. And you think people find that intimidating?
I think so. Because, I'm well taken care of. Mm-hmm. So the expectation is not that you have to take care of me, but I think that they already know that you're not going to be coming up here without a house, without a car or something. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to have a space. Like a plan at least. A plan.
Right.
Yeah. Like, because I'm not the type that you can't come stay at my house.
Oh, heck no.
Because my grandma, was like, we weren't doing that either. You're not going to come. You can come spend the night, or whatever, but you can't come stay at my house.
Oh, no laying up?
Nope.
No, I mean,
shacking.
you gotta have a space. I mean, and that is something that's important. I think now dating, it does matter because there are certain things I'm not going to tolerate. So or not, just accept just any old thing. Mm-hmm. Like if you don't have a car, I can't be picking you up all the time, taking you places. What do I look like?
And men get mad at women that don't do that. That's a part of a test. Like, I don't have a car. Yeah,
how do you tell somebody by not having a car?
Like, I need to know when I'm down.
You're gonna be yourself. Yeah, you already don't have a car. Like,
yeah, that's not a test.
Like, I can see hiding your car.
Right? Yeah.
Yo, I ain't got no car today. You come get me.
No.
Like,
isn't like at this age. Mm-hmm. Isn't like a car kind of a prerequisite?
No,
bare minimum. Yeah, but if you're in the city,
minimum.
Unless you're like in New York, I understand. Like,
DC, somewhere you are.
Like people with,
but here in the South, like,
no, you got
why
to have
at our age you don't have a car?
Even a hoop.
Yes,
like
you have a 1995 Toyota Camry.
I'm not, and
I'm just
surprisingly enough,
it boggles my mind.
Surprisingly enough,
there's people out there with
at
a car.
our age. They're in the 30s. Mm-hmm. There are men without a car who live with their parents, or and that is who they are. And then they expect you to be like,
cool with
okay, with
they can come to your house, but you cannot do. I'm not. I don't have children.
What if
And I guess it's bothering me because it's just fresh. Because somebody really thought, why are you Facebook messaging me?
Okay.
If you want me to come, that you want to go, I want to take you out, right? Mm-hmm. Then it's like, well, just get me. You can come get me.
Men have confidence like no other.
Did you mean to message me?
Sir, like you got the right person.
Like you literally.
This is G.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of makes you look at yourself like, what kind of vibe was I giving
Let me
off?
go through my Facebook profile to see if I gave off something where I would want to date someone who I would have to go pick up.
Wow.
Like I would even if it been me.
Yeah.
I would have at least. We can meet there. I'd catch me an Uber.
Hello. Rent a car.
Go rent a car. Like,
bro, my mind is so set up. Like I can't even when I'm with when my wife and I go out, she doesn't even drive, bro. Like I can count on two hands how many times she's driven, and she's got her car. And like through the last 14 years that we've been married, like I can count on two hands how many times she's driven anywhere. Because like that's my job. Like
It's the strangest things happen to me. Though.
Like it's just so weird being in the passenger seat to me,
bro. Yes,
with a woman.
And it's so crazy.
Well, period. Yeah.
And it's so crazy because I've said this to my friends and they have like said I was judging. I said they always have failed relationships because they always meet men that want to move in with them. And that right there is the red, and that's the red flag there. Like, why is he so eager to move in with you to take care of your household?
Because he don't have no place to stay.
Exactly. Why doesn't he have a place to stay himself?
You know why your friends was mad?
Why?
Because y'all women be ignoring red flags. I think y'all have special lenses in y'all's eyes.
I agree.
That just don't let y'all see. That's not
color,
red. That's like
colorblind.
blue.
Yeah. They're colorblind.
That is me all day.
They're
Like,
like, you can't, but
It's a
you know
dark
what?
color.
You know
I don't know
what?
what it
Like
is.
they always say, like, oh, you always just looking for the perfect guy. No, I'm just looking for the bare minimum. I have a car. I have a place to stay.
Well, don't look for the beer.
Oh, don't look.
But that's the bare minimum to just have something of your own. At our like, we're all over 34.
Okay, let me be devil's advocate here.
Okay.
yeah, because
see.
he's carpet
Here we
in
go.
the shop.
I'm ready for this.
Let's say a guy doesn't have a car,
Okay.
works, good person.
Yeah.
That disqualifies him for just not having.
Where
a
does
car?
he live without said car? Does he live at his mom's house without a car? Does he ride to work with his best friend?
Let's even say he lives with his mom. He had some.
You know, they don't live with their
unfortunate-
mom.
Their
They're
moms.
taking care of their
Right.
mom lives with them.
I moved back in with my mom to help her out with bills and stuff.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
'cause she was
that's
going
all.
through
which
it.
could be a real thing because she's
Yeah,
a single
it
mom.
could have been
She-
a temporary-
and she sacrificed everything for him.
I've
So
heard
this
the
moment in
story.
his life,
The
he's
story's a
gonna
thing.
go back to her.
And
Maybe something. I mean, I don't know if that just disqualifies a person.
I just feel like, are you dating a female, if you were dating, at our age without a car?
Would I date a female
totally different.
without a car?
Men like being a
Probably
savior.
not.
Okay, thank you, Tim.
You would.
Thank you.
He was honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
I'll take the probably off that.
You're not.
Probably
And
not.
here's what I say. It's not the fact that an individual doesn't have a car, because everybody goes through money problems.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through certain things. It's that is a symptom of a much larger problem,
There you go.
especially at the point that we are now.
Yeah.
For you to not have a vehicle, for you to not have your own place, or for you to, that's something, a sign of a much larger thing, that you have separate issues that you've not yet had the chance to address. So even if, let's say tomorrow, God forbid, I lose my job and I'm broke, I ain't got no car and all that stuff, I'm in a point where I don't need to be dating because I'm now going through
Yes.
things. Those
Yes.
symptoms are
Right.
synonymous of what's really going on
I agree.
that I need to handle. So I'm not in a position to do that. Those people who are comfortable, they got to get the stuff in line. Don't be spending them, because even if you are going to go and pick them up and take them on a date, that $40, $50, $130, whatever y'all women want on your first date these days, because you know y'all tripping.
Whatever works.
That's money that he can then put to the side. He can then invest and start working to be able to get out of his mom's stuff, so he can get his own place and still help mom, so he can have a car.
Yeah, and I guess for me, since I'm actively dating I want to date, to get in a relationship, to get married.
Okay.
Like you said, where I am, I don't want to even waste the time, because you have other issues. I have enough issues, so I bring baggage
Yeah.
with me. And so you're picking and choosing what baggage you're going to deal with, because he's obviously going to have some things. So it's like, okay, well, if you don't have a car, maybe something did happen. So that's why I don't say, if you don't have a car this particular month, maybe something did happen. Maybe you've gotten a wreck and you just haven't been able to get one.
Or what
yet.
if he's borrowing his friend's car, but he's always able to pick you up and
And then I wouldn't know.
he told you he wants to be transparent.
Yeah, but
Yeah, they like to try
but
that.
that's different, I guess. And then so when you're asking me to do it, I think that does change things
Okay.
too. Because if
Right.
you're saying, well, hey, come by, you can just come by here and pick me up, and then we'll go. But you want to take me to the beach. But then you also left out the part where then I already don't want to go to the beach with you.
Okay.
All right. But then you said that I need to pick you up because, you between vehicles right now, your cars. I mean, are you between vehicles?
And that's,
You between
Between jobs.
there is something to be said for any person that's willing to humble themselves initially enough, or to reveal their faults and be accepted in their faults so easily early on, and still ask of another person something else. Because if you don't have, because again, if you're in a situation where, okay, I don't have this car, but I have the pride in myself to say, I want this car, so I'm going to drive towards it. You still are somebody of substance, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
to be able to say, well, I ain't got a car, it just is what it is. Shorty, come get me. Let me take you out tonight. I mean, we got to be back, though, because, my parole officer. I mean, like,
Eventually, it just
Yeah.
goes into something else.
and
Eventually, I feel
those,
like.
if you're comfortable in that point, then you're going to be comfortable in a lot of other faults later on. So it's a red flag that ladies, y'all need to be, mindful of.
Okay.
Well, I like the red flags. I
I like the red.
have to-
like the color.
I feel like I just feel like things happen, and they have to happen. It has to be extreme for me to even see it. Like yellow flags. I think we get those. Like some like caution. Proceed with caution. Okay, that was weird. He got a text at 1:30 in the morning, or he has to step out every time he's using the phone. You know, those kind of things. You start to pay attention to those. These are like yellow flags. And then it's like, oh, wait, he's married? What?
Oh, I got a story to tell y'all.
Wow.
About a married man?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
I didn't do anything. This was a blind date.
You got set up with a married man?
Yeah. She didn't know he was married.
Dang.
She didn't know you.
No, she was real honest. She was like, she didn't know.
Didn't know.
No, she was under the assumption that he was separated.
That's married.
That's still married.
But no, she didn't tell me that though. I didn't know until like on the date. He was like, "Yo, you know I'm married, right?" Okay, thank you.
But he was honest.
Thank you.
Walked in the door.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? I'm married.
Yeah.
He's like, "I just want to make sure you know that." Like, thanks.
At least he was running that honesty passion.
So what did you do? Did you just like...
I just,
She just enjoyed the rest of her date.
yeah.
Went out with him again.
No, I did not.
One more time.
I wasn't even
And brought him
interested
home
in
to
it.
the
It was
family.
just a blind date that my friend did
Now we're up to 3.
distract
Oh, wow.
me. But let's go to the next segment, marriage.
Marriage. Okay.
So we'll go back to what G said, what G was talking about as far as having the discussion about getting married. Can you prepare for marriage, and what does that look like?
Yeah, I think you do have to. I just feel like there should be a discussion, because that way you don't get the false reaction or the reaction that is involving pressure. Mm-hmm. Which is, if you ask me in front of, we go to the Knicks game and you ask me on the Jumbotron, and I'm just like, exactly.
well, does a woman even afford you the opportunity to do that?
No.
To ask? What do you mean?
When a
Or
woman's
talk
ready
about
to
it?
get married, she's gonna let you know.
Yeah, I think so.
Way before you just think you're gonna ask.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think
So
that
if
that's
she
a
ain't,
conversation.
if she isn't giving you those cues, don't ask.
But so what are the cues? Did she just come out with it, you think? Or she's doing like wifely things?
Y'all, but see, y'all
Come
never
out with
come out
it.
with nothing. Y'all allude to, y'all suggest, y'all make iterations and suggestions, but y'all don't ever just come out and say nothing.
Some women say, like, I'm waiting for him to
No.
ask the question.
No,
They don't tell him. That's what they tell their
That's
friends.
Yeah, they tell their
Right.
friends, yeah.
They don't tell him.
waiting for him.
I'm waiting for him to
Yeah.
ask. Oh, girl, one day.
Well, I think there's a way to tell him, like CL said. I
No.
would agree.
No.
that he can
Women give
know.
you the cues all the way up to that point. You just have to catch the cues.
And see, I'll speak on my perspective. When we were young when we got married, and I don't think that we were prepared. We had the alliterations or the suggestions, and so I knew that she was. And honestly, at that point, one of the factors that led into it was I was afraid to lose her, knowing that that she had already finished her bachelor's and her master's by the time that we were in that point. I hadn't even graduated undergrad yet, and so I knew that she was moving forward, progressing, and I was like, "Oh, I'm about to be messed up."
So she might have been out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so that definitely played its part in the timing. But we weren't prepared, and that caused a lot of issues within the marriage. Because, like, even though we're together now, it's like we've had our rocks. We went through a portion of time for almost 5 years where we were separated. And so a lot of those conversations, a lot of that preparation that should have happened early on, because we were young and because I did what I did when I did it, we didn't have that opportunity to do. And so it caused lumps afterwards. Now, I was lucky, for our situations to be able to allow us to come back together. But that preparation is essential, and that's why I suggest, like, to any of my, like, I mentor a lot of young fellas and stuff, and I tell them, take your time. I know you want to and you love her and everything, but if it's true love and it's real, it's going to be there 5 years from now, if it's going to be there 5 minutes from now. And you have to take that time to actually learn individuals, learn who you are, learn how you guys communicate. And at 23, 24, 25, you're not even who you're going to be at 35.
Right.
You said at 25?
Yeah.
35.
Bro, I'm 38 and I'm
and
just
45.
now rounding in the
Some people.
Well, I think that does
I mean,
matter, though. I agree with that. I think that's why you see I see a lot of people my age. I'm 36, getting divorced. Mm-hmm. So I've seen more divorces or separations in the 30s than I ever thought that I would see. So then, where I was at the point where I wish that I had gotten married earlier and I could be on the downward, on the other side of having kids and all this stuff like that. I know that even at 30, I'm way different now. And that was just, so that would have been my, in my head, I thought I was going to do this, all these different things by 30 and, and that would be
experiences.
And really that has changed, and life, just who I am in general, is different. I'm a much better person now than I was 5 years ago, and then definitely 25, because getting married was like way different or off my radar. But I think that that's something that really matters, where you are in life. But I'll ask you, Cliff, what do you think about? So my dad always said the longer you date somebody, after the fact that you know that you would marry that person, you just spend time deciding, trying to find reasons not to.
That I think this has to be a communication thing, because if you guys know that you're going towards it, then that's something different. Because if you're still headed in the same and similar direction,
right,
you can date for 15 years. It doesn't matter that time frame. Now, if I'm ready to get married, and he's after 5 years, I'm not sure, and you guys continue to date, then your dad is absolutely right. You're just looking for reasons not to at that point. But if you guys are still driving towards a similar point and having those conversations and kind of doing the temperature checks with one another, then I think it is still possible to be able to
after a long time.
Okay, so I have a scenario.
Okay.
All right, so guy is in his mid-20s.
Okay.
He's been with the same girl for 4 years. He decides, okay, well, everybody's trying to figure out, we've been together so long. All my family
4 years?
Yeah. Well,
It's not so long.
4 years is a long time.
It's
for
not
someone's
a long time.
life at 20-something.
A long time for my life.
I'll explain to you why it's not a long time.
And that's fine.
Go
That's
ahead.
fine. He felt like, with everyone, her family, his family, like, what's the next step? What are you doing next? So he proposes. They have been engaged for 5 years.
Hey now. Hey now.
You proposed.
Hold up, let me finish
How long
it.
were
Let
you
me finish
engaged?
it.
We'll get back to it. We'll get back to it.
He said, calm down.
Wow.
You gonna just
don't laugh like that.
you gonna laugh like that?
They-
You gonna laugh.
Strong.
They've
like-
been engaged for
anything
five
like
5 years.
Uh-huh.
And, they have broken up, gotten back together. And the engagement is so-called, like, there's no wedding plans or nothing. And a friend of his asked him, well, are you ever going to marry her? He says, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm still trying to decide.
He answered the question fairly. I don't know.
But why propose to her if you're not even sure if you want to go to the next step?
He did it because of the
Satisfy her.
he did it because of the pressure from all
and,
sides.
and,
pacifier.
sometimes it's not the man's fault that
Yeah.
the wedding doesn't happen.
That is true.
So now, first off, Cliff, I want to say that First of all, when I get the text message about your laughter, I'm gonna send her your number. That's what I'm gonna do.
And she's
On
gonna
behalf of
say-
Carolina Sports Talk, I would like to offer a formal apology.
Because she will text me, and I'm gonna say, "Yep, here's his number."
I just find it funny.
Yeah, that's what she's gonna start with too. I find it funny
find it
how.
funny.
But yes, Cliff, I was not engaged for 5 years.
Okay.
I was engaged for 6.
Okay, then.
That just seems so long.
That's a long time.
It was, and we just never, either one of us. And this is why I say, you have to be in things together. One, we just, through that time, we found out how different we were. And I think had we gotten married,
It would have been.
it would have failed.
And
And I think, and me and her have spoke. She believes the same thing. She does agree. Had we gotten married within a year of getting engaged or whatever, we wouldn't have been together those
That
6
long.
years.
Right.
So I think
Do you wish you had your time back?
no, I got 2 beautiful sons who I love to. I love dealing.
Did the engagement keep
Yeah.
y'all together? That's what kept y'all together longer than just, for that 6 years? Because you said if you would have gotten married within a year and a half, y'all wouldn't have lasted that long. So did the engagement keep y'all bonded together?
I would offend her if I said what kept us together.
Okay.
Bum, bum, bum.
Okay, but the question was from G. Did you want your time back?
No.
You replied, "I have 2 beautiful sons." She asked about time.
He said no.
No. She asked about time.
No, she asked about-
specifically.
she asked about
didn't
the
ask-
time
she didn't ask
specifically.
What happened during the time?
No, I know what I know what
Do
you're
you
getting
want
at.
your time back?
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
You don't want to reclaim it.
I'm good with what I think. I learned a lot about myself through it. About myself as a person. I came out on the other side of it better.
Right.
Couldn't you do that? Not engaged?
No,
No.
I don't think I could have. I don't think I would have, because I'm gonna tell you why. when she, because it's no, because I'm very open about my relationships and stuff. She broke up with me. Okay, when she decided to leave, there was reasons why she left, and it was valid. I didn't cheat, no foolishness like that, but she had valid reasons for leaving, according to what she wanted out of a person she was married to, and I wasn't that. Now, am I that today? No, because I'm not what she wants, and that's cool. I'm good. But I know that there were areas that she addressed when talking to me about why that I did have to go reflect and change. Mm-hmm. And those are the things I think make me a better man now. And whereas with her, I wasn't marriage material, I am marriage material now.
For whoever comes to you now.
For whoever's coming to me next.
Well, question. She couldn't tell you that in year one? It would take 6 years.
No, but like I said, there's something that kept us together that I can't really say. It's I'm
going to keep personal.
Yeah, that I really just want to.
And here's what I say. In the 6 years, it may have taken that time frame because through each month, through each day, through years, there are certain experiences that shape individuals. And that's why when he said that he wouldn't want that time back, even during the time that I was apart from my wife, it helped me to reflect on who I am, what I wanted. And so ideally, would I not like to have been separate? Absolutely. But I feel like it helped me to be who I am now as a result. Even in my professional career, the time apart shaped me to be way better than I was. And so there are certain things and parameters that you can experience. Like if it's 6 years that they were just dating, there's difference in 6 years in dating and 6 years in an engagement. And for clarification purposes, I laughed not at not individuals and or specific situations. Well, there is a specific. I've got a buddy who's been engaged for 5.5 years, I think, around at this point. And I laughed because he and I talked about this not long ago. And he's like, man, I'm still engaged. I might be engaged for the rest of my life because they've got a family together. And he had proposed because her family, the pressure, what are y'all going to do? Y'all got kids together? Y'all living together? So he proposed, but he literally went and dropped $4,000 on a ring to say, all right, that ought to shut her up for a while. Yeah. And he don't care. And so for me, if you're going to take the time to propose, it's about a plan. An engagement is a plan towards marriage. Now, I understand that there are long-term plans, however, that is something for me that if you're not ready to get there, you shouldn't propose. It's not a pacifier. It's not a placeholder. Well, we're not going to get married, but we'll go ahead and get engaged because, I'm giving you something. If you're not ready, you shouldn't even propose. So yeah,
I mentioned the time piece. My question about time, sorry, Nique, was because I know as a woman, a lot of us, and after relationships are over or after something doesn't work out, the first thing I hear women say, myself included, gosh, I wasted so much time.
Wasting my time.
And so we you can't get that time back. But I think there's something to be said for what you're talking about because you become better in those relationships and those things. So it's not like a regret on time, but it's just like we stay committed to the situation because it's like we've already put a year. We've already done 2 years, or he already been staying with me for a year, or this guy came through and I missed that opportunity because I was wasting my time. So that's why I asked that question.
Well, me and my ex, we are cool. We cool. I think we pretty cool. We co-parent well together and stuff like that. So and in that sense, she's communicated that it's not she doesn't feel like she wasted her time but that's what was communicated as we talk even now.
Okay.
From day to day. But
I know why women waste time or feel like they waste time.
Okay.
Because they haven't been honest.
Oh, they haven't been honest with themselves?
First of all and foremost.
Yeah.
And women like to talk, but they don't always communicate. And I enjoy the talking. But there's different when you communicating something.
Well, he preaching this.
Yeah. You gotta actually say something. You can.
I actually agree.
Yeah, like story about a couple.
Yeah.
A man and a woman driving down the road. And the woman asked the man, "Tomorrow, aren't you hungry?" And he says, "No." 30 minutes later, she said, "I told you I wanted something to eat." You did not tell me you wanted something to eat.
You asked if I was hungry.
You asked me, was I hungry?
She did.
No.
She said, "Aren't you hungry?"
Aren't you hungry?
You.
That's
You and we are different.
Aren't you hungry too? Is what's in there.
She threw that two in
the
there.
2 was in the back end.
Yeah, that was
the
the
two-
part
the
that
two
you
is what
missed.
did it.
Well, why wouldn't you just say I want to get
But
something?
for
Right.
me, if I mention food,
But if a man isn't aware of the cues,
Right. Because we don't speak the silent too.
Yeah.
We need to hear that.
I mean,
You don't speak the silent.
because the guy literally heard, "Oh, I ate earlier. I had
Right.
sandwich.
Aren't you hungry? No,
I
I'm
had
good.
sandwich before I picked you up. Like I'm
I'm
straight.
Gucci.
you can eat without me.
That would break
You're
my
right.
heart.
That's why he didn't tell you.
Like you ain't got food and you didn't think about
Yeah,
me.
absolutely.
I probably thought about you, but I mean, you
Absolutely.
think about yourself too.
You didn't
hopefully.
think about.
No,
if I
she
was
cannot
gonna
think
be-
about you, but you have to think about her. You
I
could have
just-
brought me a cookie from Chick-fil-A.
Oh, hold up! You got Chick-fil-A and you didn't think
You're
about.
right. You're right. So it's a difference.
That reminds me of White Man Can't Jump.
I'm
What's
gonna
that?
need
I
not
want
to-
you to say that I too hunger.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's what they want.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a lot. There's a lot there with the time thing. I just haven't figured it out. But
I
in
figured it
talking-
out. You got to be honest.
For
And
example,
okay,
another example, because I actually
I
I thought that
feel
was a
like-
good example.
I'll give you a year. How a year surpasses in a relationship. You meet. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to commit to anything 90 days. So now you're at 6 months.
Okay.
She has a birthday. There's Valentine's.
Yeah.
You have a birthday. Celebrate it. Tragedy. Friend, family member, somebody. 3 more months. We had 15 months. Oh, excuse me. Thanksgiving. Christmas. Bad weather. Tropical storm.
Yeah.
We hit 15 months already.
Pandemic.
Pandemic.
Yeah.
We're already here.
Yeah.
And in this time, you haven't been honest.
So
You've been maneuvering in the relationship,
right.
but you're not being honest. I don't really know who you are. You've been telling me this thing that you like, or I think you like, that you can't even stand.
Well, I
So you're
think
still trying to figure out
who she is.
But if you haven't figured out who you
repre-
are, how can I figure out who you are?
And
your
I was gonna
representative is.
Yeah, I
is
was going to say that a lot of women going into, and not all, but some women going into a relation, or not even a relationship, just going into dating with someone, they tend to pretend like they want to be this type of girlfriend. So they go in being this type of girlfriend and not really being that person. Like, for instance, I may not be the type of girl that brings you food all the time.
No, you're
I
not
may
going to
not
do it all
be-
the time. You're going to do it
But
to start.
now I'm calling you every 5 minutes, like, hey, are you hungry? I cooked. You want a plate? And that's not something you can keep up. But just like a man.
You can if that's who you really are.
But that's not who
the
you are.
thing. But that's why you got to be.
You want to be that.
You've got to be. I'm sorry, to cut you off. You got to be authentic from the beginning. That's one of the things that through life I've learned in not just relationships with regards to the intimate component, but even professionally.
Right.
I set proper expectations. Like I think I might have shared it with CL at one point. Like I set proper expectations, consistency, and effort. So when I do those 3 things in every relationship, every job. So when I tell you who I am, I've set that expectation, and through my consistency, you know who I am. So I'm not going even if it's let me put my best face forward. I'm gonna put my real face forward, so you know what you're getting, and
Right.
so that later on when you get my real face, it's not a Cliff. Nah,
Yeah.
I told you what that was from jump. So like, yeah, you got to be consistent through the whole thing and put that real face early on.
Well, I think honesty is key. You're right.
Honesty is key. But be honest with yourself first.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes I have some, boy, you always trash. You are trash. You need to go lay down.
You need to go lay down
Yes,
and
you need to
reset.
go lay down and just stop lying to people. Get off the phone. You've been lying all day. Get off the phone and get
Yeah,
yourself together.
that's true.
Yes.
I think it's important for you to be able to know that.
Yes. You actually have to. Now, Nique,
Yes.
you want to wrap us up here? What's this final thought? Final question?
All right. So the final question is, if someone says they aren't ready for marriage, is that a red flag?
If I'm ready, yeah, that's a red flag.
If I'm ready, yeah.
That's
So-
fireworks. Like that's
So
a real
if someone
thing.
says I'm ready, is a red flag?
Not ready.
Not ready. Okay.
Only not ready. Not ready. If
Oh,
you're
I
ready.
thought you said if you say you're ready.
If
there's a
I'm
red.
ready and
Yeah.
you're not ready,
Yeah, that's a red flag for me.
that's a red flag. But I have clearly missed the cues.
And here's why I'm gonna say it's a red flag, because it's a red flag because now you're lying. Because if I'm to the point where I'm ready to propose and I've already told you And that means we've already had those conversations.
So
now you're telling me, no, you lied to me. Either you lied then or you lying now. And so that's a huge red flag.
But in those early conversations, like say before the actual ring is happening, you're talking about marriage and they're like, well, I still want to do X, Y, Z. I still think sometimes as women, as we spoke about earlier, we are not hearing what you're saying anyway.
Okay.
And so I think that is a struggle. And I think with men, because they're, it takes a lot for y'all to get it together to then present this idea. Now that even if that's the woman, so for me, there was a point where I was very career centered. And so I was not interested in seriously dating anyone. I would always say that at the beginning. And I was not actually dishonest with myself. I knew that the way that I was moving in my career, I was not going to be able to be there in that space in certain relationships. What happened was, eventually somebody wore me down. But I do think that being honest with yourself from the beginning, for a man, they become crushed. It's like, no, I have said that I want to marry you. And you're like, well, and then we never, you can never, it's hard to recover from that. Because once he's done that, and then you say, well, no, not really. He's not going to marry you. Because he's going to, like you said, it's a red flag. You might be like,
Yeah, there's something there.
And I do sometimes feel like people change, especially if you've been together for a certain amount of time, and y'all can have those conversations of, yeah, we can get married, we can do this, and have those plans. And then he proposes a year later, your job may change. You may be more focused on your career now. And like,
which is more important, your career or your marriage?
But it depends on where you are in your life. I think it's okay.
Where you are in your life?
What type of career you have.
I think it's okay if you want your career to be the forefront.
Yeah.
At that particular time.
Oh, okay.
More important than the marriage.
No, but you're already married. Are you talking about you're already married?
No. He's wanting to propose, but he's wanting to propose, but right now in your career.
But I'm just saying, are you already married at this point?
Your marriage should mean more.
Okay, I could see that if you're already married. What I'm talking about is if you're in those stages where you're not married, like you're not married yet.
He's proposing. You are at the point where y'all probably should be married.
Having a conversation. You're not proposed yet.
Okay.
This is like a conversation we're talking about.
Well, if he's not proposed and you're not committed, then you're free to work wherever you want to work.
Oh my gosh! So this is the thing. You see how you went all the way to like 100?
I
didn't say I wasn't committed. I just said that at this particular time, I might get a job and it might move me X place. Yeah. You're committed to being here with your family.
Yeah.
Then you need to be here with us and our family. So or you can be with them new people.
What if he proposes to keep her here?
He trashed. That's manipulative.
Yeah, that's wrong.
That happens a lot.
But to address what you're saying, if you guys are driving towards marriage, once again, if we're following the roadmap of dating, relationship, marriage,
right.
If you guys are headed towards that point and he says, hey, I think I'm about ready. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts? Well, I'm more focused on my career. Then that means that you have now shown me that you're not committed to the relationship. Yeah. Your priorities have been aligned to say.
Well, how about not necessarily, I wouldn't say I'm more committed to my career. I would just say, well, what if my job takes me X place?
What job?
The look on your face right now tells me you don't even buy what you're saying.
You don't even believe what you're saying.
But y'all realize you haven't answered my question.
It's a show.
Okay, because I said y'all have the conversation y'all are having now. Like, okay, you're ready for marriage. That conversation could happen now. A year later, you may not propose till a year later. What if a year later, when you actually get on one knee, her mind has changed. She's not ready. She wants to be with you, but she's not really necessarily ready.
You should have saw the cues from 1 year to 2 years.
So you got to be attentive.
Right. Or it could be a Yusuf situation. Shout out 6 years.
Yeah,
you take the time. If you really want to be with that person and you know that they're wanting to be married, then you accept the proposal and say, well, we will hold off on a marriage date as we continue to grow towards each other to allow my career to be what it wants to be. We're engaged, which means we're still on the roads heading towards the same place together. But if you say no, then that means a no means I don't want to marry you. Not, I don't want to marry you right now.
You can't say I don't want to marry you right now.
You won't say it to me.
Not today.
Yeah, you can say it to somebody else. I won't be saying it to me.
I mean, there's not a lot of women who are saying it at our age who are saying no, not yet, just because at our age.
I just think
that's
the most important.
Yes,
that's your most important job is to be married, man and woman.
That's the most important.
If you believe in marriage, I
believe in marriage, but that's not.
I'm just saying.
Once I get into a marriage,
and now shall bear a son.
Maybe.
That is what I'm.
Yeah, maybe if you want to bear children, that's cool. But I'm saying,
At this point, I'm on a breathe.
Compared to jobs.
At this point.
But I say crazy stuff.
No, that's not crazy.
She said, I'm just breathing.
Hey, she want to be fruitful and multiply.
My thing is, I mean, there's ways. If you're like taller, then I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting old. So if I have a child, you know, be a boy or a girl, then
he
I'm
could
like,
reach
well,
stuff.
He could be
change light bulbs.
tall, and then genetically we could produce an athlete.
Could.
Yeah.
I mean, just things that cross my mind.
She wants
So
to
that
breed.
should be.
She wants to breed
athletic.
My mom
herself.
thinks like that.
Build. I'm athletic in general. I have good hand-eye. I play sports.
Okay.
So ideally, I mean, at this point in my life, if we're out here taking a shot, you know, I'm
might as
old.
well take a
might as well
High
take
percentage.
Might as well take a good shot.
You know, how tall is you know? What's your grandma? Is your grandma like? Does she have good stature? My grandma was strong.
Okay.
You know, I mean, tell me about your granddaddy. Is he? You know,
Ancestry.com.
I mean, at this point, when we get to a certain point. But back to your question.
Okay. But did everybody answer the question?
Yes.
Wait.
The question was answered.
Yusuf was like, I don't know, did I?
Yeah.
Did it? No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, go ahead and answer.
So the question is, if someone does not want to get married, is it a red flag? I don't think so. I agree with CL and everybody else. Pretty much is, if you're at that point, then it becomes a conversation where I think you would then communicate that you are ready for marriage. You are looking at getting married, and that's when you have that then turns what her response into a serious conversation at that point, because you can figure out kind of where you're gonna go. Okay. From there, because it could be a situation where she's just like, because of a reason like her career, or because it could be whatever, she doesn't want to get married right this second, but it could be something that she is interested in you. She does love you in that way. It's just because of these things, maybe a plan she has for her life or whatever it is.
But
I understand. I'm not saying anything outside of some people. Those are the things that they come up with when they have the conversation. So if that's what it is, because some people do have those weird plans. Like I said, I would travel the world before I got married.
Yeah. Okay.
She say something like that to me, I'm out. But
Go and travel the world.
Go and travel the world.
Right.
I don't know who's going to be here.
I don't see many men, you know, asking and then being told no. Women are now proposing or mentioning, you know, doing that thing.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Garbage.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, don't. I'm just saying, but that's happening.
Don't.
It is happening.
And I'm trying to figure out how we've gotten to that point. This point is that's trash, but it's tough.
Being desperate.
Yeah, but it just seems so desperate. And then there are women or there are people who will justify and say, well, she was just ready.
No.
Yeah, okay.
But see, she was ready and he wasn't. He probably showed her the signs that he was not ready for a marriage. She just got comfortable doing wifey things and instead of just enjoying the relationship.
Yeah.
He never had that conversation with her. She was just, I'm ready to get married. My friends are married. My mom is asking me why I'm not married. So she took it in her own hands instead of having that conversation with
It
him.
just seems so crazy.
Okay. Well, Brother Cliff.
But before we close out, Brother Cliff, we sent a special RIP out.
RIP
to a relationship legend. He kind of came up with the mantra, persistence over resistance.
Mm-hmm.
He was a passionate chum, very loving guy. Learned a lot from him. Learned a lot now what to do. Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew.
He is now no longer.
He's no longer.
He's been officially canceled to death.
I know.
Well,
And those guys who believed in persistence over resistance,
I hope that dies with him.
he carried a good fight. He fought the good fight.
He did fight the good fight.
He fought the
and he
good
lasted
fight.
for years.
Decades.
Decades.
1945 to 2021.
Yeah.
And now that I look back, like that really wasn't right. Like she would look petrified. And like,
don't
leave me alone.
do that, Nique. Now
I'm
that's
just
RIP
saying.
the man. Now you talking.
what we're
Come
not
on
gonna
now.
do.
We're not going to
Come on.
Y'all so like men.
No.
What we're not
Take
going
up
to do is
for
argue
men.
the merits of a cartoon skunk.
What did you expect?
Yeah, like that's
It's
not,
like, he's a skunk. Why doesn't he have a job, bro? He's a cartoon.
he's a
skunk.
cartoon skunk.
So let's keep his family lifted up.
And that's not where I thought you were going with that.
Yeah,
That's why I got quiet.
Exactly.
But it's very valid.
It's very.
Yes.
Very.
R.I.P.
A lot of men live by that.
Yeah, some
They're gonna run you down.
They
You just
really
get tired.
are.
So y'all feel like he deserved to be canceled?
No.
I think at this point, no.
I think there are creeps.
get it.
There are creeps in every part of life. So if we eliminate creeps, if we eliminate everything from relationships in general, life, then as a cartoon, I mean, there are people who shouldn't. I think that maybe the boundaries, maybe a disclaimer.
He didn't respect boundaries.
Maybe he
did not respect
at the beginning of the shows that he was on, there should be a disclaimer at the bottom.
Yes, in 1945 was a different time.
Yeah,
Very much so.
But Pepe Le Pew may violate
offend.
May offend some
personal space.
Yes.
But he is simply a smelly cartoon skunk.
Why are we so sensitive as a people? Like,
That's the question I was about to ask.
I knew it was coming because that's his favorite thing. Oh, I'm sensitive now.
the culture, y'all, is retarded. We were on. I was on the DJ Blaze radio show podcast, and we were talking about the Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head,
Yeah,
and
that's
how
crazy.
they now come to
Yeah.
Is that where we really are?
But
as a
that
I was
culture?
shocked.
But it bothered some people. But I think, that Mr. Potato Head, there's a place for him because there's Mr. So and so at your church or whomever. Like kids are seeing, there's Mr. and there's Mrs. Go figure. That still exists. So, but I mean, we're talking about like Pepe Le Pew.
He represented.
They got rid of Baby It's Cold Outside. They tried to cancel that.
Yeah, they didn't.
That one was a little rapey though.
That was a little rapey.
I don't hear it. It's definitely
I didn't
rapey.
until I did.
Okay,
I read the lyrics.
But
it's a little rapey.
it's one of my favorite
It's
Christmas
one of
songs.
my favorites.
When he hit her with
Baby,
the "It's cold outside," say what's in this drink.
Yeah.
It's like wait,
Oh,
is he roofing?
Then he said, "What's in this? Say what's in this drink?" Then
I
she
took
said,
that up. Maybe it was a little wrong, a lot of wrong.
"But
Nah.
what is in this drink? And what will they say tomorrow?" There's a lot of just strange things, but that's just where
Different
we are.
time.
Different time,
Right,
But you
exactly.
think about the Professor Ogilvy. She was all over him.
She next.
You think she's
She next?
Ogilvy.
Oh,
no.
no.
Monique on a Parker.
Monique on the Parkers, how she chased him.
That's acceptable.
But Pepe Le
woman?
Pew.
Because she's a female?
Because it's a woman.
Nah, get
So
out.
you think
Nah,
we're
I'm
gonna leave
not.
her alone?
I don't
I feel
agree,
like
but
she-
it's because it's a woman.
Yeah.
Because
So you're saying
she
there'll
was
be
like
less-
climbing through
A
windows.
woman could do virtually anything. To
anything.
a man, and it's acceptable.
And it's acceptable.
Guys, here you go.
It's okay.
I mean,
No,
you're not
that's
wrong.
real.
I'm
That's
one
real.
of an equal mind where if we're gonna be appalled about this, let's be appalled about that.
I
But
agree.
Oh, not me.
I
Not me.
agree.
Really?
I just think it's things women can do and men can't do them, and that's just
Just
it.
like men can be
No,
sexually
I
assaulted.
think I kind of on CL's point.
Oh my
On
god.
CL's
Can
point.
be,
By
yeah.
who?
Okay.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Not
You talking about-
today.
Oh my
Sexually
god. That's a
assaulted.
whole different
Wow.
conversation.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, because this.
No,
Okay.
I was saying
ahead.
to CL's point, Cliff, you kind of look like what? But I think that things are just. It makes no sense to fight about it.
No.
or to be
Not me.
Why not?
or to be befuddled by it because it's just what is. It's what is. Like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna say we can debate it, we can talk about it or whatever, but at the end of the day,
It's still a reality.
it's still a reality. Women can do stuff that men are not allowed to do.
And vice versa too.
Yeah. It's not supposed to be equal.
It's not.
See, I guess in my mindset, it's more of the idea that if we are going to address this, then let's address it. I want to say, put it out there plainly. I think that we shouldn't address it because he was really. Is there some child who's going to watch Pepe Le Pew and feel like I should go and harass some chick?
No, but
Well,
he does represent a time. Yeah,
he was very grabby.
he
Kissy. Philly.
slid right in her shirt on one episode. Like, wow, damn, that's a.
So we gonna cancel Tom and Jerry next for violence? Is that what's coming? Is that where we headed?
I
in the
think
shoot?
they were at that point at one time.
But
They just put out a
bullying.
movie. They
and it was
Bullying
horrible.
with Wally Cody. There's a lot of things.
Oh,
Back in the
wow.
day.
Wow.
But again,
Bugs
here
Bunny
we are.
was in blackface.
And
He
so was
was.
Tom and Jerry.
But he was black.
Bugs Bunny.
Bugs.
Bugs Bunny wasn't black.
Man,
He was a gray bunny. See, when we're
Yeah, he was black. How's he blackface? He okay.
But see, that's when people start reading too much, and it's like when they
it's
went to
supposed
the
to be
SpongeBob
entertainment,
thing,
like,
questioning their sexuality. It's
well,
like
SpongeBob wore a thong because well, never mind.
My mouth just dropped open
I
like.
never watched SpongeBob.
since we're at that point of the show,
Let's go ahead.
Cliff, man, once again, we really appreciate you taking some time and being on with the show. Let the people know where they can find your podcast, as well as your social media, so they can follow you.
Sounds great. Carolina Sports Talk is available wherever podcasts are available. You can hit us up on the sports line, Cliff at carolinasportstalk.net. You can find me on Instagram at Carolina Sports Talk.
Well, that sounded so good.
Yeah,
Yes.
right?
So professional.
I'm not going to sound like that.
Okay, G.
Go for it.
You can listen to G and Key on our weekly podcast on Sundays. It's the weekly wind down. It's wine with a Y. We laugh. We talk. We get sad sometimes. You might learn something.
Might learn something.
Yes.
All right, Nique.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining in on our conversation today. We want to thank our guest, Cliff, from the Carolina Sports Talk, and it's your girl, Nique Cruz.
CL Butler.
And your boy, Yusuf, and we are out. The Relationship Status Podcast is sponsored by Unfiltered. Whether it's hoodies, long sleeve tees, leggings, joggers, or tech suits, Unfiltered has what you need to express yourself in any weather. Visit unfilteredforever.com and use the promo code RSP to get 10% off your entire order. That's unfilteredforever.com, promo code RSP. And remember, there's a science to being you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Relationship Status. Remember, you can catch us on relationshipstatuspodcast.com, iTunes, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, Nobody Grinds Like Us, and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. If you would like to join the conversation or leave us a Dear Nique, email us at relstatpodcast@gmail.com or call us at 843-310-8637. Follow us on Facebook at Relationship Status Podcast, on Instagram and Twitter at RELSTAT Podcast. And don't forget to comment, share, 5-star rate, subscribe, and review.